Hello everyone, welcome to today's podcast. I am Hanur Abdul Malik along with my classmates Alian, Sobia, Hudaybia, Aman, Fizza and Shahryar. And today we'll be discussing the spiral of silence theory and how it affects people behavior on social media platforms like Instagram, TikTok and Twitter. Have you ever stayed quiet online because you were afraid people would judge you or attack your opinion? This is exactly what the spiral of silence theory explains. In today's digital world, people often avoid sharing unpopular opinion because they fear criticism, trolling, cancellation, or social isolation. This theory helps us understand how public opinion is shaped and why many people choose silence over speaking openly.
Theory explanation. The spiral of silence theory was introduced in 1974 by a German political scientist. This theory explains how people often stay silent when they feel their opinions are different from the majority. According to the theory, human beings naturally fear social isolation. We all want acceptance from society, friends, family, and communities. Because of this fear, people avoid expressing ideas that may lead to criticism, rejection, or embarrassment. The theory suggests that individuals constantly observe the environment around them to understand which opinions are socially accepted and which opinions are unpopular. This process is called monitoring public opinion. For example, if someone notices that most people online support one particular opinion, they may hesitate to share a different viewpoint. They become afraid that others may judge them, attack them, or exclude them socially. As a result, they choose silence instead of speaking openly. This silence then creates a powerful effect since fewer people express opposing opinion. The dominant opinion become even more visible and stronger. People begin to think that everyone's agree with this view, even when many people privately disagree. This is why it is called a spiral. The more people stay silent, the more powerful the majority opinion appears. And the stronger that opinion looks, the more others become afraid to speak against it. The media play a very important role in this process. Traditional media like television and newspaper and now social media platform influence what people think is popular or acceptable. There are three major concepts in the spiral of silence theory. The first concept is fear of isolation. People fear being rejected, criticized, or socially excluded. Because humans are social beings, they prefer acceptance and belonging. This fear often stops individuals from speaking honestly. The second concept is public opinion. People continuously observe society to identify which ideas are accepted by the majority. They pay attention to trend, discussions, comments, and reactions before expressing themselves. The third concept is silence creates power. When minority voices remain silent, the majority opinion become louder and more dominant. Over time, alternative viewpoints disappear from public discussion, even though they still exist privately. This theory is very important in communication studies because it explains how people opinion is formed and why some voices become invisible in society. In simple words, the spiral of silence theory teaches us that silence does not always mean agreement. Sometimes people stay quiet simply because they fear negative reactions from society.
Today, the spiral of silence theory is highly visible on social media platforms and in everyday online communication. Social media has become one of the biggest spaces where people share opinions, react to trends, and participate in public discussions. However, these platforms also create pressure to follow popular opinions and avoid disagreement. For example, when a controversial topic begins trending online, many users hesitate to share their honest thoughts because they fear negative reactions. They worry about receiving hate comments, being judged publicly, losing followers, or becoming victims of online harassment. Instead of speaking freely, people often choose silence to protect their social image and avoid conflict. A very common example of this is cancel culture. When a celebrity, influencer, or public figure is criticized online, social media users often join the dominant opinion even if they privately disagree with it. People may repost criticism, support trending hashtags, or stay silent simply because they fear becoming targets themselves. In many situations, individuals feel safer agreeing with the majority rather than expressing a different perspective. Political discussions on social media also clearly demonstrate the spiral of silence theory. Many students and young people avoid discussing politics openly on platforms like X, TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook because they fear judgment from friends, classmates, family members, or society. Some people worry that expressing political opinions could damage relationships, create arguments, or harm their reputation. As a result, they remain silent even when they care deeply about certain issues. Social media algorithms further strengthen this spiral. Platforms such as TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube usually promote content that receives high engagement through likes, comments, and shares. Popular opinions therefore become more visible, while unpopular or minority opinions may receive less attention or even hostile responses. This creates the impression that one viewpoint is supported by everyone, which increases pressure on users to agree with the majority. Another important example can be seen in entertainment and popular culture. Many people pretend to like trending movies, songs, fashion styles, or viral challenges simply to fit in socially. They may avoid criticizing popular celebrities or trends because they fear being excluded from conversations or online communities. In this way, social pressure influences not only political opinions but also personal tastes and lifestyle choices. The spiral of silence theory can also have serious effects on mental health, and online criticism can make people anxious, stressed, or insecure about expressing themselves honestly. Some users become afraid to post their real thoughts because they worry about being attacked or misunderstood. Over time, this pressure may reduce confidence and limit open communication in society. Cyberbullying is another issue connected to the theory. When people see others being insulted or mocked online for expressing popular opinions, they become even more afraid to speak openly. Observing public criticism teaches users that disagreement can lead to embarrassment or social isolation. This encourages silence and strengthens majority opinions even further. However, social media does not always strengthen the spiral. In some cases, it can help break it as well. Anonymous accounts, private discussion groups, and supportive online communities can help people get the confidence to express minority opinions without the fear of direct judgment. Social movements such as mental health awareness campaigns, women rights movements, and minority advocacy groups have gained strength online because social media allows people with similar experiences to connect and support each other. For example, individuals who once felt isolated because of their opinions can now find communities that share their beliefs. This support reduces the fear of isolation and encourages people to speak more openly. In this way, social media can both silence people and empower them depending on how it is used. Overall, the spiral of silence theory remains highly relevant in the digital age. Social media platforms strongly influence what people feel comfortable saying publicly. Fear of criticism, social rejection, and online backlash often encourages silence, while supportive communities can encourage freedom of expression. The theory helps us better understand how public opinion is formed and why many people choose silence instead of speaking honestly in online spaces.
I believe the spiral of silence theory is even more relevant today than when it was first introduced. According to this theory, people often remain silent when they feel their opinions are different from the majority because they fear criticism, rejection, or social isolation. In today's digital world, this happens very frequently, especially on social media platforms. Social media gives everyone the opportunity to express their thoughts publicly. However, it also creates pressure because people are constantly judged by others through comments, likes, shares, and online reactions. Before posting anything, many people think carefully about how others may respond. If any opinion is unpopular, people may avoid sharing it to protect themselves from trolling, cancel culture, hate comments, or public embarrassment. For example, during political debates, social issues, or controversial events, many users choose to stay silent even if they disagree with the dominant opinion online. They may fear losing friends, damaging their reputation, or becoming target of online attacks. Because of this silence, the dominant opinion appears even stronger, while minority opinions slowly disappear from public discussions. This is perfectly explained the spiral of silence effect. Another important point is that silence does not always mean agreement. Sometimes people stay silent simply because they do not feel safe or comfortable expressing themselves. This can create a false impression that everyone thinks the same way, even when many people privately disagree. At the same time, social media algorithm can strengthen this theory Platforms often show their user content similar to what they already believe, creating echo chambers. When people mostly see one side opinion, they may think that opposing views are unpopular or unacceptable, which increases fear of speaking out. In my opinion, this theory teaches us an important lesson about communication in modern society. As responsible media users, we should encourage respectful discussions, listen to different viewpoints, and avoid attacking people personally for their opinions. Healthy communication is possible only when people feel free and safe to express themselves openly. Overall, the balance of theory help us understand why many voices remain unheard in society and why creating a respectful environment for communication is very important today.
To conclude, the spiral of silence theory helps us understand a very important aspect of human communication, the fear of social isolation and how it influences what people choose to say or stay silent about. It shows that public opinion is not always a true reflection of what everyone actually believes, but rather what people feel safe enough to express. However, it is also important to remember that silence does not always mean agreement. People may stay quiet due to fear, pressure, or desire to avoid conflict, not because they have nothing to say. This is why understanding this theory is so important. It helps us become more thoughtful and empathetic in how we interpret others' silence online and offline. Ultimately, the spiral of silence theory reminds us that every voice matters, even the quiet ones. As media users, we should aim to build a digital culture where people feel free to express their thoughts without fear, and where differences in opinion are seen as strength rather than a threat. Thank you.